Okay.
Oh, you needed it anyway.
Yeah. I can't wait to tell you guys what she did to me.
He's gonna tattle on me. He's gonna tattle on me, probably to the very first person in chat.
Well, let's see who that very first person's going to be.
The first person who is going to find out what I did. Oh my gosh. I'm just like
Sita's
this.
whining. Sita's whining.
Sita's whining.
Let's see.
Oh,
it's
KK. She gets to know the dirt.
KK.
She gets to know. But I have a feeling he's going to wait for a few more people to come in. So
Alice is Alivex. Inspire me. Great to see you guys.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Robbie Berry. Good to see you, brother. Fat Foodie. Oh.
Howdy.
Gosh, it made me want Thai. The way you were spelling fat like that makes me think of
Thai food.
Thai food. Yeah, I love Thai food.
Great. We got some really yummy noodles from our Mama Jan too.
Yes, Jenny Pace is in the house.
And
so is Dana Green. Elantra. Christine Januchek. Good to see you.
Carter. Great to see you.
Israel's
in the house. Coolio.
Dreaming in Puerto Rico. What part of Puerto Rico? I had a great time body surfing in Rincon. What a fabulous beach. Wild waves. Holy cow. You made it. Good to see you, Jen. Ham 37. George.
Awesome
Jed
sauce.
Stamos. Good to see you, Jed. Tom. Melinda. Cindy Murphy.
Sita, come here. Come here. You're welcome. You can come.
We have another wonderful Cindy in the house.
Sita's back there barking because she thinks she's not allowed up here because Rama's already up here. She's a little bit dramatic. If you ever own a Doberman, you don't just get a dog. You get such a drama queen, and they don't just lay there or sit there. They pose. And is there any personal space? Absolutely none. They follow you all the way into the bathroom. And if you leave the house to take the garbage out, they stare into your soul. I mean, to no end, as if you're going to leave them forever. These dogs are Velcro babies. No, super glue, super extra on the glue babies.
Well, we have Barbara and Susan with us, so we can get started, I guess. Yeah, wild times. Normally we're on with Wayne, but he had
some stuff to do today.
Yeah,
address.
He had stuff to do today, so we're hoping next week we'll be on Wayne's channel at this time. Oh,
you
boy.
were still going to tattle on me?
Yes, I was going to tattle on her. You know what she did? So I always make a fresh cup of tea whenever we're going to do a live to keep me going through it. I normally don't put sweetener in, but I was in the mood for some honey. Well, turns out she had taken the top and just, because she was having issues getting honey out, she didn't twist it back on. But it looked like it was on, so I went to do just a little dab of honey, and the whole thing poured in. So I might be on a sugar high because I'm not used to sugar, guys.
I couldn't get the thing to pop open. I'm so wimpy. And I got mad, so I unscrewed the lid, and I did my honey thing. I guess I didn't screw it back on quite right, and Mike found out about it.
Yeah, all these years of being married to her, I always expect the unexpected.
Keys in the fridge.
Keys in the fridge. Things going in the freezer that you don't expect. It's a wild thing. Christine was asking, is his wife okay? I believe so.
Yep.
We haven't spoken to him directly about it, but seems so. So that's good.
Oh, yes, and your pup just got out of... Well, I am glad, Dara. I hope she does really well, sending her love and blessings.
Sylvia, I'm glad that you like our programming and what we cover. And we have Zeno Jen. We got a couple Jens.
Yeah, we got a couple.
And we got a couple Cindy's. And
yep.
It's just wonderful that you guys are all here. Yesterday, we did an unusual thing, which really goes against my natural ways, because I am a complete double Gemini kind of workaholic. So it's actually even kind of weird that I'm so big into meditation and like Qigong, because Cindy will tell you I could do an hour's Qigong. It doesn't phase me, so I can still the mind to a high degree. but at the same time, I always like to feel like I'm productive. So yesterday we actually took a day off, which maybe we probably work
we needed
360 days of the
Yeah.
year. But we were just zapped yesterday, and then I was looking at the KP. Yeah, let's look. Let's see what we got. Because the KP was elevated for a long time, and that really affects. It's still pretty. Well, it's 4. It's a little bit over 4, but you can see we've been kind of high there, guys, for a long time now. 5, 6, 7. Some people get wired. With me, it makes me kind of usually drowsy. Again, everybody is different. We're all unique when it comes to how these energies, affect us. And Sita, it makes her hungry. She tries to get the tops. There's a screw on top on like a 50-gallon barrel full of yummy food for her that she knows where it is, and she tries her best to try to unscrew it. She's not giving up. So yeah, the KP index elevated. Times of incredible change is really what we have going on. The Schumann is showing a 70 here. Overall, though, it looks like it's been relatively quiet, and you got to expect the unexpected in these days. So I was going to say, this is actually the third thing we did today. We did this Patreon and members exclusive, and it's talking about Trump and Melania spilling the control system's deep secrets on time travel, teleportation, and medbeds. There was some video that was included in there as well from other sources that was really curious. There's so much that's been disclosed to us, and there's a lot more coming. That is for sure. Oh, how about this now? Dobsonian power, live sky, space news, etc. This is showing something going straight into the sun. So, science would say, well, there's comets that dive to their death in the fiery pits of the sun. It happens often. Yet, are they really comets, or are they ships using the sun as a portal, as a gateway? I'll tell you, I have seen with my own 3 eyes,
Yeah, right.
with my own 3 eyes. There was a night in the desert that was interesting because, Cindy, instead of micro something, we'll say we were, and again, kids, this is not for,
Don't do this at home.
don't do this at home.
Don't
Yes,
do this at
exactly. Yes, exactly.
We're not condoning it nor denying it. All the
No.
safe words.
But all I'll say is I had some portobellos, sort of. And I could see the connection between every single star. It was mind-blowing. Again, we have actually quite a few family members in the EEARTS evolutionary family that have gone to other countries and experienced things like ayahuasca and other, similar substances that can completely turn on one's pineal gland and expose other dimensions to the individual to perceive. Now, you can achieve that in deep meditation. It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, unless perhaps in a past life you were a yogi or, an individual that just dedicated your complete life to that focus, and you brought the gift over into this. But yeah, I that was seeing all the stars interconnected. But we've shown the reality of that with photography too, and looking at how it's like the neural network of a brain. So yeah, there are. Cindy can see them. The portals, the gateways, the what else would you call them? That open up and connect one star to another. So when we think that it's impossible to go from one area to another area with the technology we understand, it's not taking into account a variety of different wormholes that can be utilized. And also, we don't believe that the distances are as vast as they tell us. There's a lot that's really close to us in our neighborhood. A lot of planets that have life, and it's just, life is abundant.
Mm-hmm. It most certainly is. And Robbie's here saying, you're just a fun guy. Yes, that's right. Mike is a fun guy. He's great. So, how do we know it's not CGI? You don't always know, but what we do is we go by our own personal experience. And then when we do see something that looks like what we have personally experienced, I feel very confident in saying, yes, that's real.
Yeah. And, I've seen actually dozens like this in the past, many, many, many. We've also shown where you could see these giant ships that tether to the sun and literally use the energy probably just simply to refuel themselves, and then they're off doing their travels. I will tell you, though, the blue avians, which are very real, and again, I feel like everything that happened with Corey Goode was all about kind of debunking blue avians and that whole concept, because they are very important, and they are beings that are much more likely to literally save our butts on a physical level than other beings out there. I think they have. I think this is where you get so much of the, respect and, I was going to say, worship of the eagle and other, big predatorial birds, but these are actually protective. When we look to the Hindu tradition, Garuda is literally the eagle humanoid being that, Krishna or Vishnu would travel on to get from one place to another. I think that's symbolic. I think it's just saying that these avian beings are really following the natural order of things. They're on our side. They want us to be free. They want to help us. They hate what's been done to humans on planet Earth.
Robbie says, Corey Goode says 3i Atlas is made of antimatter, is going to cause massive nuclear explosion when it comes near the sun now. Well, I don't know if it's going to do that, but I do believe we are in for some changes. I did see some information about how the sun and the earth and the magnification of all things is going to bring us up in vibration, which could very well be the actual split. And this is supposed to happen October 30th. I find that so interesting, watching the sun do what it's doing right now. Really pushing people to a very high degree to kind of step out of their comfort zone and actually heal, and not just gloss over things or make fun of things or make light of everything, but really, really look at themselves, see themselves in other people, take a good hard look in the mirror. That's what I see that energy is doing to us right now.
Yeah, and this was also supposedly captured by Dobsonian power while surveying 3i Atlas coordinates with a solar telescope, a dark silhouette that looks kind of triangular. So, is it true that our own TR3Bs, TR3Cs, and other craft routinely go all the way to the sun and come back? Do we actually, humans, have the capability to use the sun as a portal? I don't know, but I do know that there are ETs that do. And through remote viewing, and we actually had a few close encounters of our own, which if you've been following us for the last 8 years, you probably have seen us talk about. There's humans. Our military is regularly working with grays and reptilians, also the tall whites. In fact, Cindy has gotten that it'll probably be the tall whites that get introduced.
Okay, these tall whites are really wild, you guys. These tall whites, they love to interact with humans. They are a little bit of jokesters, pranksters. They're out there at Nellis. They actually have them out there at Nellis, and they will do favors for you, but they want things from you. And usually they want things like the latest clothing fads. They like to dress up. They like to act human. they're very, very unusual. I mean, if you could just imagine like a 7-foot gray alien model walking down the runway with her banana yellow sachet on. I mean, they like that stuff. They're very, very odd.
Well, they sound like they would fit in with, the Biden regime's entourage and brain trust.
Yeah.
They really do. I think, they are. Charles Hall, that's who I was thinking of. He is a person that's seen them too. Again, we lived across from Nellis for a year and a half, and it was interesting. I mean, we saw ships all the time, and we could feel them too. We could definitely feel them. Cindy could see the Greys and the reptilians doing their patrols, because Nellis Air Force Base, which has, at least a part of it has been renamed, that is protected not just by the United States military, but by extraterrestrials and also interdimensional beings. Again, I like ultra-terrestrial. I just wish the whole world would take that as being the catch-all phrase for when we're talking about intelligent beings that are not Homo sapiens.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things about them, and you can't lump them all in one category. They're not, one particular species is not all bad. There are good out there. They're on different wavelengths like we are. I mean, we're all in different places. Some of us are really serious about healing and helping the planet, and some are not.
So Robbie is saying these are the undead, right? Giant vampires from outer space. How would you categorize them?
Which ones?
The tall whites.
The tall whites? I don't know if I would call them that, but with their skin tone, I think that they would frighten people for sure. I think people would look at them and think, oh my gosh, this person is not alive.
Well, if you remember Max Schreck's old personification of Nosferatu, maybe not that big of teeth, but definitely kind of creepy like that.
Yeah, definitely kind of creepy like that. Lots of stuff going on there.
So here you go. This is obviously, it looks like it's a ship in front. And there's many.
Like a big triangle ship,
yeah,
right?
It looks like a triangle. So it literally might be one of ours. How about this? Have you guys seen this? This is a UAP, let's just say, a UFO UAP. It goes into a chemtrail, which again, chemtrails, they still have wikis about that, even though we all know. And states literally have put legislation in, and it starts dissolving them. Now, this was something that was talked of in our circles for 20 years, I want to say, that I can remember. I do think they could simply analyze very quickly the composition of certain chemtrails and know it's going to be a very bad one for people and could cause potential problems. And they can mitigate it. And I do think they do this to protect us on a regular basis.
I think, if we were to look at this seriously, I don't think there's enough people who are awakened for any type of species to make themselves known just yet. I think there would be a huge humanity collapse if they landed on the White House lawn, for real.
Well, Bashar, he says that the deadline is 2027. It's moved up to 2027. When you look at it now, there's a lot of people that are channeling. The reality is we have to try to decipher which ones are plants put in place by the system and which ones, are channeling truly, directly from the benevolent beings. When we talk about this, are we witnessing some sort of great intergalactic, interdimensional war? The reality is, I don't believe it ever stopped. I don't think there was a serious... I think, again, we heard of, and Cindy picked up on a treaty that was made, not a complete stopping to the war. Think Korea, too. The Korean War's technically still on. There was never, a peace treaty signed, but we did get, there was a treaty that expired in June of last year that nothing has taken its place. So we're kind of like in uncharted waters. I do think the timelines that many people were expecting haven't materialized yet because our consciousness and everybody like you guys, doing your thing. So many of you guys are warriors out there. Susan, I think of you, I think of KK, and, gosh, all you guys that are out there spreading, again, what for humanity's benefit. There's so many beautiful channels out there right now that are trying to do the same thing. So, we can bypass a lot of the nastiness and get to some of the good stuff. Because the good stuff, we could have a complete paradise on this planet in the matter of no time. Literally, it wouldn't even take a year, I don't think, to completely change things if again, we were allowed to. And also, if, again, humans really, this gets into another subject, had the capacity and maybe the heart, to handle it. Because some people, again, this just shakes their paradigm so much, they find it absolutely terrifying. And it's understandable, if what you've grown up with, every little bit of it turns out to be complete lies and distortion. It could leave you feeling very unrooted.
It can. And, the only ones who can see into the fourth dimension are those who have chosen to now. Now, whether or not can the fourth dimension show themselves to everyone, I feel they have the ability to, if they wanted to, if the time was right, if they felt it was advantageous in some way. Some might be a good advantage, some might be a bad advantage. But those who want to see the fourth dimension can. That's where we're at right now.
So you have reports in New Jersey, and I remember this when the drone thing was going on in New Jersey. That was not quite a year and a half ago, I think, but there was reports that drones were spraying and laying chemtrails. And now you have reports in Denmark of the same thing. So you have some laying these substances up in the sky that obviously at some point in time is going to make its way down and humans are going to breathe it in, whatever it is. And then you have other ones that are coming by and trying to vacuum them up. That sounds like there's some sort of conflict going on there, doesn't it?
It does. And, since the room is full at the moment, I want to say huge thank yous. You guys are always so supportive. And recently we've had Miss Bonnie, Peter, Scott, and Mario have been our donators to help keep us going. You guys keep it up. Thank you so much. Thumbs up, watching the channel. Everything helps. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't do it without you guys. And, it's wonderful to have this connection with you as this gentleman's looking up and seeing, some of the more conventional looking ones. I've just found that in our area, it seems that when they lay the chemtrails down, it's at night now. I think that they're aware that the public's looking up a lot more, and with all the laws that are going in place, I think they want to avoid the detection a little bit more. Seems like they wait till the sun's going down and then they start laying it on thick. Yet at the same time, people have said all these laws in effect, why has it not stopped? And the reality is, I do think that even if humans stopped, there are UAP that would just pick it up where the human pilots left off. Because ultimately it's not controlled by Homo sapiens sapiens at the top.
No, it's not. That's the thing. They can say what they want. They can put whatever laws into effect that they want. If it's not time for the higher powers to let go of their toxic spraying, they're just not going to let it go, not unless they have to. I honestly believe with Three-Eye Atlas, Lemon, Swan, and the other comets, I really, really believe that they are going to cause a huge ripple with our frequency and with the frequency across the planet. And I think something ultimately will be done. But right now, it still feels like that some not nice, naughty people are still in control.
This is from Ross Coulthart. These are not ordinary drones. Airports shut down around the world, military bases breached. Drones that hover for hours, slip past radar, even change shape midair, and no country claims them. Japan's prime minister joined a UFO parliamentary league. They want a defense ministry office, data sharing with the U.S., and public disclosure. So, yeah, it's gigantic headlines. It's a big realization that, no, we're not just alone, but it appears that there are these opposing forces out there that have completely different ideas about where humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, fit in. This is, to me, this is definitely, I think it's the biggest thing that we could be talking about. The reality is, when you look historically, yeah, we had the Foo Fighters. That was a well-known thing. We've had all sorts of UAP, UFOs over military bases, at times shutting down technology completely just to show they could. Meanwhile, we have the comet thing. You know, with these comets, it's happens so often that it gets associated with great disaster. Plagues, famines, everything. Israel.
Oh my gosh, Israel, thank you so much. We appreciate that a lot. We can't tell you how much. Thank you very much, Israel. Be safe.
Yes, Israel is often awesome, and he's been so supportive of us. And,
yes, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
You know, and it's wonderful too when we have the sessions with you guys, so we really get to know you, and we all get to know each other.
That is nice.
It just deepens the relationship.
Because whenever we do have a session, it is truly like talking to an old friend. I mean,
it is. It's like family.
The barriers go down, like the walls go down, and people can finally have someone to talk to that they know understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we do.
So, comet stirs debate among astrophysicists, and they call for urgent international attention on interstellar object 3I Atlas. Michio Kaku says its acceleration cannot be explained by conventional causes, and it's approaching Earth closer than we expected. You know, there are some that say it's coming here, literally coming here. We do get that it does have a mission, absolutely. We don't get that it's malevolent. It's not about an alien invasion, but that doesn't stop certain beings from using it to scare people into an alien invasion. So, you know, again, it provides a lot of cover for many, many different things. And that's what I wanted to really talk about for just a second. When we have a wartime scenario, especially like World War I, World War II, and if they're able to trigger WW3, you have such a cover. You have such a cover for so many things. So it provides an opportunity for so many things to be done in so many ways with a huge cover story. You know, because for one, it does give them, again, a chance to go into certain places and leave historical evidence as nothing but rubble or melted in some cases. I do think, again, the wars in Iraq, a big part of it was absolutely getting rid of evidence. You know, again, there's the stories that talk about Gilgamesh being found and portals, again, stargates being found. It really, when you look at what Saddam Hussein had put together, my gosh, it was incredible. You know, the recreation of the days when, you know, the Sumerian gods walked the earth with humans.
You know, Jenny Pace, she brought up a wonderful question, and I'm glad she did. Are wars real? And here's what I pick up, Jenny. It's yes and it's no. Are they real in the sense that would we do that to ourselves? No, we would not. They are not real. Are they manufactured? Yes, they are. And that's just really the terrible truth. They need that to keep themselves fed on an energetic level and a financial level.
Yeah. Again, it's like the debt that was left in the United States after the Civil War created the opportunity for the bankers again to do the banking acts and ultimately to give us a Federal Reserve and bring about to fruition the trillions that we're in debt now with. And then this gives them the opportunity to have a reset and to redo again the monetary system yet again another time. Yeah, wars, I mean, the people do die in wars. National borders change. Some of the politicians and, going back historically, the kings, queens, the royal families, some make out better than others. Do they actually? They don't usually themselves participate directly in the battle, which we could look through our history and see. You'll see, these battles between France and Great Britain, England, and you don't really see the king getting decapitated or put to death. No, in fact, usually they end up getting a peace treaty and marry off kids to each other just to secure the blood ties even more. It's just the average people that get drafted and sent into the slaughter. So it does create an opportunity to weed the herd, do a little culling and keep humans in a low frequency while feeding certain entities with the loosh.
It does. It's that energetic thing. Great to see you, DJ57. I'm so glad you could make it. Awesome. And yeah, Israel says definitely scripted with a purpose. Very much so, Israel. And not just on this dimension either, on other dimensions too. It's created to create a feeding source from us because they do utilize our energy in more than one way for sure.
So, Professor of Natural Sciences, Director of Bird Institute at Harvard, it might be an alien probe sent to Earth to conduct a reconnaissance mission, possibly with hostile intent, right? So we have to expect anything. We could expect that they might actually create something like, something comes or from it or seems to come from it and literally, create like a impact, like it nudges a asteroid or a meteor or something. They could tell us anything, but the reality is, could be launched by other ships that are up there, maybe under, reptilian or gray control, or even, unfortunately, human control, to use this as a cover story and also to get everybody fearing that alien invasion so they could, again, go to that next level. Here you go. This is the Tassel in Azure rock art. Depicts beings with large heads, strange bodies, and formations that continue to baffle archaeologists. Are they gods, spirits, or something else? Again, a lot of them, some of them look just like grays. We've seen so many depictions of what looks like gray aliens. I think there's been many different alien species. As you can see, this is probably 15 feet, this painting, were they trying to give you an actual perspective of how big these beings were. It's so cool to actually go, and Cynthia and I, we've been in places where they have all sorts of petroglyphs, and the vibe is so cool to tap into it and feel the energy for yourself.
It is. And you know what I love when you look at this rock art?
What do you think of this one?
Well, they have such technology because they cast this. I think they're showing different strands of DNA, different types of energy. They're showing who they are and what their DNA looks like and what their cells look like. I think it tells a story about their species. And
so you're saying this is telling a story?
Yeah, it's telling a story about how they're made, what they're made of, history. There's so much in that little bitty little bit of patch of information there, and when you get up close to these rocks, when you see these things, it's like they cast this thing onto the rock. It's not lasered in there. It's printed on there, but there's no ink. I mean, it's the wildest type of art, and it doesn't go anywhere. It stays there for, gosh, thousands and thousands of years until the rock melts or goes away.
Can you tap into who that being or this type of being was?
They're very advanced with their technologies. So you see the things on his shoulders are almost connected to the brain. The brain is connected to another higher source of information. So they can pull data rapidly. I would say there's some of the beings that I think a lot of people have heard about iCloud. You know, they have their own direct iCloud that they pull information from. So they're tied into their own particular AI, and each species, a lot of them have their own particular type of AI that they use. So those shoulders, that energy is very significant. That means a lot. That says a lot about who he is and what he has access to. There's 1, 2, 3, 5 stripes on that? Almost like a general signature.
Oh.
Like stars. But
now, are they, would you say they're part of the Draco Alliance? Or
they're very business-like. I don't feel a lot of mercy coming from them. So they could be, yeah.
Very interesting stuff. Here is Charama in India, home to a series of astonishing rock paintings that are believed to be 10,000 years old. At least that's what some believe. These are artworks obviously depict humanoid figures, what looks to be traditional flying saucer. Very, very curious. What do you make of this? Now, when you look down here, I caught this. This person believes that this is a continuation of historical seeding. In other words, placing in things that are going to build up the whole alien extraterrestrial visitation mindset purposely. So you see that there's a lot of people that don't believe, in life elsewhere. Now this person describes themselves as a reluctant anthropologist studying Earth. So, again, we will find that usually when you go through the traditional schools, those top tier schools especially, you get indoctrinated into the secret societies. You become part of different sororities, fraternities, and of course, things like the Masons, which you're going to end up trying to debunk. So, there's a lot of paid debunkers. And, one of these ones we were looking at earlier, the second person down making a comment said, "Hey, Grok, is this true? Boy, is that dangerous. Do we believe Grok? Do we believe ChatGPT for everything?" Because, that's what's happening, is people are looking at them like they're infallible. They're just Wikipedia. That's all they are. It's another version of Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely make stuff up if needed. And, if you disagree with them, they'll wrap around you and figure out a way to agree with you. I mean, the AI that we have is very disturbing.
Yeah, it's another part, another piece of the puzzle. Now, Jason Wild here, he says, the governments of the world have been playing us for far too long. What you're looking at isn't some random rock. It's perfect 90-degree angles. This is supposedly on Mars again, which, there's so many pictures that we've seen of anomalous things on Mars. Right angles like this, completely perfect, just don't happen in nature. So obviously, this is the base of something, be it a rock wall or perhaps it was a pyramid. Again, Mars, quite a history there on Mars for sure. But the other thing too is that you do have many sources saying that the Martians, after doing what they did to Mars, integrated into Earth. Many of them came here and then they've worked their way up to being in control of the power structure on planet Earth. And they're doing the same thing. They're on a path that would lead us back down into all sorts of destruction. And then that gets you into non-playing characters, which more and more people are talking about. And we have gotten that is a reality. They're there is a lot going on when it comes to a lot of beings that may look perfectly human but aren't. Here you have some, these are known ships, so again, when you look down here at the bottom, BN 2200, it's made by Lockheed Martin and Bigelow Aerospace, 26.2 meters across. And you have a TR-5A, we have an O9G, this is from General Dynamics, this one's Lockheed Martin, and the one on the top, the TR-3C, is Lockheed and Northrop. So we know that we have these type of ships out there that look very, very ET. And the reality is, were they back engineered? Sort of. How about engineered with help from non-humans, non-Homo sapiens?
Yeah, I do believe that there's been interesting help with making these, and everything that we see in the air now, things that are, I don't know, I'm just kind of watching what they're doing over the airports all over the place, and stopping air traffic from flying. I think there's a little more to that than what we're being told.
Oh, absolutely. And why is it that all the ships that we see our military putting out looks like something that would be on the Empire side? When we're talking Star Wars,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Now this was the same person saying, this isn't going to be a popular take, but I want to say it anyway. Because at some point we have to stop pretending it all makes sense through the lens of aliens. The way the drones, orbs, shape-shifting lights are showing up all over NATO airspace, and only NATO airspace is starting to look less like contact, more like intentional chaos. He says you don't see these craft zipping over Moscow, Beijing, or Sao Paulo. Actually, I would disagree. I mean, we don't see necessarily the drone thing that happened in Denmark and happened over New Jersey. But yeah, I mean, I've seen tons of UAP photos from Brazil. I've seen a bunch also coming in from Beijing as well, and a few from Moscow. So, I don't think, again, we need to exclude everything. Is this NATO BRICS? Yeah, I do think it is NATO and BRICS, but that doesn't mean that it's not also different ultra-terrestrial groups. I think that's the point, because I think, yeah, there are different ultra-terrestrial groups at play. And as above, so below, perhaps certain ones are more dominant in certain countries than others. When you look to Deuteronomy 32:8, and you look to Psalm 83 again, talking about the earth being divided up amongst the Elohim, against the mighty ones, the powerful ones. It talks about the tribes being given to different beings to do what they want with them. And we also get from the Sumerian stories that some of them were brutal and other ones were much nicer to have over you. Again, they're individual beings. Even when we are talking about the ones that are under the reptilian Draco power, the AI controlled ones, the negative AI, they're still individuals, so, each one is unique in their personality, just like humans, even though they do have kind of a hive collective with them all being plugged into AI, and everything that they talk about with us, that Neuralink and stuff, that's because it's all coming from them. That's their system. That's Nibiru. That was Mars. That's part of the same system, Nibiru and Mars.
It's the artificial hive mind that really bothers me, instead of the desire to have unity. If you look at birds, insects, fish, they do have this type of hive mind for survival, but you look at humans and it's kind of a forced thing. It's like, let's immobilize them unless they're able to use our technology. If they can't use our technology, then they're gonna they're going to have to suffer. They won't be able to work, or they won't be able to do certain things. It just feels kind of forced when it comes to humans, instead of allowing us to be like really, really unique, like we're made to do. It's like they kind of, put this technology, insert it, and make us use it. And that's the part that I don't really like. And we're all kind of stuck using it. I mean, most of us need to use a cell phone. We need to use a computer. I mean, we have to work in this 3D world.
Absolutely. Again, you find on all this art depicted very, very interesting figurines that seem to pop up again and again. Over here, I mean, this certainly looks like they're trying to give you a depiction of a gray. Interesting beings. These right here look like they're flying. I think this is Judiculla rock, which I saw that and touched it myself. And yeah, I mean, the energy around Judiculla rock is very palpable. Again, a lot of different species of giants. It wasn't just one species of giant. Here you see, I don't know if they're trying to depict them flying. It kind of looks like it. He's got a cape on. Is he a superhero, or is some sort of jetpack propulsion? Very, very curious. What the heck is he holding too? Like a ray gun or something? I don't know.
I don't know, but he has a deer-like thing jumping over him. Yeah. He's interesting. He's fun.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
It looks like they're all kind of flying,
Look at this head. Now, we've seen skulls like this, too. A lot of them. And we've seen them in Peru. We've seen them in Africa. We've seen them up around, the Black Sea area. And, you just wonder what they were trying to depict and give us. What's the message? Are they talking about, interactions with non-terrestrials in the deep past? This one, I don't know what that is. Are those horns, or it's curious.
Or
very,
is
very
it
curious.
like a vampire with his cape? Yeah, and horns and ears. It's a cow vampire.
Yeah, that's a curious one.
Yeah.
Now, the other part too, these battles in the sky have been witnessed so many different times all throughout our history. A lot of them have been, pretty detailed in their, describing what really looks like ships battling up in the sky, whole armies appearing in the sky. Was that all Project Bluebeam back in, 1500? Because that technology's been here for thousands of years. It's part of that bigger realization. We didn't just get a lot of this technology. We've always had it. Makes me think of that movie Cowboys and Aliens, because the reality is, that space age technology has been here for forever, because again, Earth itself was terraformed. At Sanderborn in Pomerland appeared a great army, and if northern side prevailed, I guess. Great army clashing in the sky. This has happened time and time again. September evening in 1583, people of London were greatly puzzled and disturbed by a series of wonderful, strange visions in the firmament. Up in the firmament. Wow. From 8 o'clock in the evening until midnight, the heavens were illuminated with fiery constellations, the color of sulfur and blood, pillars of light similar to arrows and spears. 15 years later, frightened residents of the Cumberland city of Cockermouth watched regiments of soldiers fighting fiercely in the air. A similar vision of a ghostly army seen on the spring evening of 1628 over Berkshire was accompanied by the sounds of heavy artillery and the likeness of a man continuously beating a drum. Many of those who witnessed these miraculous appearances fell to their knees and not only thought, but also said the day of judgment had truly come. Like the person I was just saying, that thing, this is judgment from the creator of heavens and the earth. It's ETs, guys. I mean, it's ultra-terrestrials. They've been here the whole time. It's just wild, to see all the accounts. Triple suns, inverted rainbows, troubled observers in Sussex over the next decade, when a sword of fire appeared over several areas of Devon in 1638. The magistrate of Axminster solemnly recorded it in his diary as an ominous harbinger of impending troubles. You can see this is something that has occurred fairly regularly. And we could go back to Alexander the Great. When Alexander the Great was having his battles, I believe it was in Persia or around Persia, where he was having his battles, and all of a sudden there was a sign in the heavens, and the heavens were filled with what appeared to be ships battling. As above, so below. Yeah, JW's in the house.
Yes, he was asking if we went trick-or-treating, what would we dress up as? I don't know. I shouldn't have spoke for Mike, but I want to be a shapeshifter.
I remember in high school, my best friend was very controversial because he dressed up as a pregnant nun.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Yeah. There's Halloween is so fun. I love the costumes, you guys. If anybody goes to a Halloween party, you got to send us costume pictures. We'll make a video of them. It'll be a lot of fun. I love Halloween. Halloween is so fun. And the veil is supposed to be thinner, so it'll be a blast.
So Kevin says, wait, if this war is happening in the frequencies of the fourth dimension and higher, all we see is the controlled third dimensional illusion of just Earth. Again, it definitely goes up into fourth density. I think when we're talking fifth density, we're
more balanced.
We're way more balanced. I don't think we have all this chaos.
If you look at music notes, you can really understand and get an understanding of that lower fourth density. But it seems like you would think, well, lower fourth density is higher than 3D, or then how could it be bad? But if you look at the music notes, it explains everything. It's crazy.
Hey, look at this depiction. This is, again, London and Berkshire. April 9th, 1628. Literally, heavenly armies facing off, and people thought it was Judgment Day. Yeah. Lots of different things that have appeared. And yeah, some of it has been religious iconography, getting people to think it's the second coming. Think about Fatima, Yeah, it's very, very curious. So here you go. Celestial phenomena were not limited to the British Isles. Europe in those days was full of stories of strange and terrible signs. Phantom armies appeared over hundreds of continental cities. Attacking cavalry was observed in the firmament near Nuremberg in 1554, over Croatia in 1605, and a sign over Poland in January 1581 depicted an ominous funeral procession of hooded black figures. Wittenberg was the site of an apparition of a bloody sword and cannon wheels in 1547. 14 years later, a huge crucifix, rods, and 2 pillars of fire were seen in Eisleben. Did somebody cook with magic mushrooms? What's really going on here?
That's a pretty wild vision there.
Is it ETs playing with humans?
Well, I think that's a big, high possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a vision in Germany, 1561. 1573, a semblance of Atlas appeared in the sky above Montpellier, carrying the whole world on his shoulders. Late 1590s, angels with military weapons appeared several times over Normandy and Picardy. The terrible image of a wild man threatening to revenge frightened members of a community near Frankfurt around 1600. Visions of bears, lions, and snakes fighting in the sky were also widespread. Tale of 2 dragons fighting over Ghent in 1579 was the subject of one of many foreign pamphlets that London publishers translated for the edification of the readers. Was it all just tall tales? There's a lot of phenomena that's been seen over the years. It just makes it feel like what we're seeing now is just kind of a continuance. Does this just ebb and flow? Lots of things going on with the sun, strange clouds. In fact, again, there are accounts of these strange clouds and things spraying stuff in the sky, and then plague and all sorts of disasters would come about. Look to the plagues of Justinian, because again, there was signs of like three suns appearing in the sky, strange clouds, and then all of a sudden you had the plague raging. You could see, again, this is something that humans have kind of always experienced. Just fascinating to see this. People have looked up in the sky and saw objects that looked like spheres, or maybe they were more like their saucers, again, depending on how we're looking at this. So well documented. This looks like a saucer crashing into the sea. And again, the association with comets, because it seems like comets come and then there's chaos.
It does. It does. I mean, they are definitely harbingers of change. I do think if you're not in alignment, if you're doing things that are not in your own best interest, that comet's going to come around and kind of show that to you, as if it might be something like Saturn.
So 4 months after Caesar was killed again by the Senate, a comet appeared in the sky above Rome and shone for 7 days straight during the funeral games held in Caesar's honor. And that was a stroke of good luck for Octavian, because Octavian, again, became probably the most powerful Caesar and the most productive Caesar ever. Octavian, Caesar Augustus, and the one that died, of course, we're talking about Gaius, Julius Caesar. I think there's an association, honestly, with 47 and Baron. I really feel, I feel the energy of Octavian and Baron. That's just something that's really, really hit me. So, I'm just sharing that. And then, you see a lot of the same souls come back time and time again. This is Justinian's plague. You have a comet running, then you have UFO sightings, you have, all sorts of sun dogs in the sky, strange clouds, and then the plague wipes out a third of the population. This is, again, it's the history. We see this time and time and time again. It's just wild.
We do, and JW says it's a naughty time traveler. Yeah, with where did that go? With a sky-based hologram projector, it very well could be.
Meanwhile, scientists use cloning technology to swap the DNA in human eggs. So, yeah, again, maybe you're going to help with the infertility that seems to be so rampant.
Yep.
But when you look at this, scientists have adapted cloning technology to create human eggs from skin cells and a donor egg. And then you put this together with this one, again, talking about the human eggs in the lab. Think about this. Think about all the infants, the babies that were for sale when we're talking about the world's fairs. That gets us into that whole line of thinking. Why were there so many kids and why were there so many empty cities at the same time? It's as if whole generations were wiped out and then new Homo sapiens were introduced. Oh, and then again, that gets us thinking about all the abduction reports, because they're always interested in checking out DNA and human reproductive capabilities.
Indeed, and thank you so much, Mario. We appreciate that a lot.
Thank you, Mario. Always so very supportive. This is in Ireland, Newgrange, Ireland, 3200 BC. So, yeah, this is dating back over 5,000 years. Again, there's so much evidence of beings that had technology available and chose to live in a very harmonious way with the earth. Now, this man says you could slow time, stretch seconds, and enter an altered state of consciousness in emergencies. Yes, absolutely. Again, time is a construct. It's something that we perceive when we are embodied, but when we're not in the physical body like this, it's not the same at all. And in fact, have you ever had time change? Like, I'm sure if you're sitting in a dentist chair, it seems like everything's taking forever. Mm-hmm. And if you're enjoying whatever your favorite concert, it's like it's over in a blink of an eye. I remember being in a very bad accident when I was 17, and it seemed like time just slowed down. So it was like every second was like a minute. I remember the windows blowing in on us and the car flying, and time certainly changed. It was so perceptible to me. So yeah, we can learn to manipulate time. Then that gets the question, are there beings that manipulate time regularly? Do they come back and try to nudge us into creating new outcomes that maybe they want to enjoy more than what is, the trajectory that we're on at this time? Mm-hmm. I think it's very likely, so are we living a do-over? Could be.
Yeah, probably in so many ways, but you could look at that and say thank goodness, because I need a lot of do-overs.
Well, if the poles do flip and we do get crustal displacement, hang on tight, have a lot of hairspray, because it's going to get pretty windy, guys.
We just gave Sassy a trim on her eyes, so she wouldn't have this problem now.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like my little mini sheepdog.
She's
cute. She's super cute.
And Sassy is going strong. We say a prayer for her sister that passed on. She's with Cindy's family in out west, and they were sisters, born together and lived together for the first half of their life, and Sassy decided to come with us for the second half, and we're thankful for her being with us and bringing up the pups, because she's been their mom in many ways.
She's the matriarch. She tells those Dobermans what to do and how to do it, and if they can have their food or not.
So, guys, this was fun. Thank you for joining us. Cindy wants to give you guys some dings, and we're going to send out some positive frequencies. I always think Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which is a Vedic saying that basically is, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may my thoughts, actions, and deeds contribute to that happiness and freedom.
Indeed, and I want to say another thank you to Israel and Mario and everyone who's made a comment, left a thumbs up. Join us over on Patreon. We got a wonderful family over there, and I'm going to do some dings, so have some happy thoughts in your mind. Here we go. Source bless and namaste.
Thank you guys so much. Source bless